All right, let's dive into one of the biggest, maybe the biggest, and most mysterious topics in tech right now, GPT-6. I mean, the speculation is just completely off the charts, and it really all boils down to one huge question. And this is it. This is the core of everything. Is GPT-6 going to be the model that finally crosses that threshold into what we call AGI? We're not just talking about another upgrade here. This could be a genuine paradigm shift. So let's unpack what all the signals are telling us. And look, this hype isn't coming from nowhere. Leading the charge is OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, with a projection that is just staggering, a 10 times leap in capability. That is not a small incremental update, no way. It's a massive generational jump that really frames this entire discussion. Okay, so let's tackle that big AGI question head on, because to figure out if GPT-6 can actually get there, we first need to agree on what there even means. What are we really talking about when we say the word AGI? So here's the working definition that most folks in the field use. AGI isn't about being perfect at just one thing. It's about achieving human-level performance across a whole wide range of cognitive tasks, things like reasoning, learning, problem-solving, you name it. Just keep that definition in your back pocket as we move forward. So, the big question, will GPT-6 actually meet that definition? Well, the case for it is pretty compelling, and it's built on three key pillars. You've got OpenAI's own messaging, then you have the analysis of its predecessor's performance, and finally, how it all stacks up against that AGI definition we just talked about.
The foundation for this whole AGI claim is already being laid by the model that came before it, GPT-5. I mean, experts are already describing it as having a PhD-level understanding in certain areas. It's acing advanced math and science tests. So if that's your starting point, a 10x jump from there puts you in a whole other universe.
So here's the bottom line. From a practical and, let's be honest, a marketing standpoint, all the signs are pointing to OpenAI branding GPT-6 as an AGI. The performance is projected to be so high, it'll meet that working definition, even if academics and purists are going to argue about the finer points for years to come.
But okay, let's not stop there. Let's push this a step further. If GPT-6 is AGI, does that mean it's also super intelligent? Now, this is where we have to be really careful and make a critical distinction between what's practical and what's pure sci-fi. Right, so we need to separate these two ideas, narrow superintelligence versus general superintelligence. Will GPT-6 be better than almost every human at specific things like science or coding? All signs point to a big yes. But will it be a self-improving autonomous system that can just rewrite itself and take off on its own? Well, that's a much bigger and way less certain question. And, the tech community itself is kind of pumping the brakes a little bit here. The general consensus is that, yeah, these large language models are incredibly powerful, but they might not be the direct path to that runaway sci-fi version of superintelligence everyone worries about. So the big takeaway here, you should absolutely expect GPT-6 to be a crazy powerful tool with superhuman expertise in a lot of areas. But don't expect a self-aware system that's ready to take over the world. At least, not yet.
Of course, GPT-6 isn't being built in a bubble. It's stepping into a full-on battle royale. The AI arena is heating up with some absolutely massive players. So how is it expected to stack up against its main rivals?
First up, you've got the Maverick, Grok 5. Its whole deal is its connection to the real-time data firehose from X, its speed, and its distinct, often snarky personality. It's an AI that's built for the now.
Then you have the 800-pound gorilla in the room, the incumbent, Gemini 3 from Google. Its power comes from a totally different place. Google's colossal datasets, its custom-built hardware, and of course its seamless integration with the world's biggest search engine.
And that brings us back to our headliner, the challenger poised to retake the throne, GPT-6. Its claim to fame is just raw, unadulterated power, that 10x capability jump, and a projected lead in super complex multimodal reasoning. We're talking understanding text, video, even 3D models, plus all the hard science benchmarks that really matter.
So when you put them all side by side, you can really start to see their different game plans. GPT-6 is projected to just dominate in raw scale and multimodal depth. Think 3D and video. But you can see Grok and Gemini have a clear advantage when it comes to real-time data. And notice the different approaches to safety too, from heavy moderation on GPT-6 all the way to a much looser, more experimental vibe with Grok. So what's the net result of all this? Well, the bottom line is GPT-6 is expected to be the all-around champion on general performance leaderboards, but Grok will probably own its niche for real-time edgy chat, and Gemini is going to dominate any task that needs deep integration with live search data from Google.
Okay, but this incredible future for GPT-6, it's not a done deal. It's not all smooth sailing. There are still some pretty significant hurdles on the path that could really complicate its AGI claim, or at the very least, slow it way down. And really, it all comes down to three big potential showstoppers. First, you've got hallucination, which is just the AI making things up, and alignment, which is making sure its goals match ours. Second, regulation is coming. You can bet on it. And third, we're kind of facing benchmark saturation, where these AIs get so good, they basically break all of our existing tests.
And to see why this is such a huge deal, just look at this number. Even the super powerful GPT-5 has a 1.6% error rate on complex medical questions. And that's when it's in its most careful thinking mode. I mean, in medicine, a 1.6% error rate has very, very real-world consequences.
And this, right here, is the absolute crucial point. You cannot just solve safety and truthfulness with brute force. A model that's 10 times bigger isn't automatically 10 times more trustworthy. These are deep, fundamental problems that pure processing power just can't fix on its own, and that pushes us way beyond simple engineering. All right, let's boil it all down. If you take away nothing else, here are the final calls. Is it going to be marketed as AGI? Almost certainly yes. Is it a runaway superintelligence? Probably not. And is it going to outperform its main competitors? All the signs point to yes. And that kind of leaves us with this one last big idea. As we get closer to models this powerful, the questions we ask start to change. We're moving from, can we build it, to what does it mean that we did? For now, judging what GPT-6 truly is might be less of a question of benchmarks and more a question of belief.